Yeah, one of the things that I would do to increase the entrepreneurship and business opportunities for small businesses, I would first of all make the process, I would streamline that process. Then I would also, because I've talked to many business owners who said that it takes, a long amount of time, it's an extremely long amount of time to get from phone call to actual startup. There's got to be a way to streamline that process. So I've talked to many of them, and part of it is just even the return phone calls. Many times that return phone call doesn't come for months. And this individual, their lifeline is basically hinging upon someone being able to approve their status. And if you don't approve their status, let them know what is necessary to get that approval. The other thing that I would do is also look at the assessment of our taxes, not just in the business, in the retail, but in the commercial sector, but also in our residential sector as well. I talked to one gentleman. He did some renovations at his business in Southwest Detroit. His taxes went from 25 cents per square foot to $4 per square foot. Now, what happens with this is this individual now is going to tell other business owners who wants to do rehab and construction on their buildings and their facilities, not to do it because you won't be able to afford it. He has part of his building that is completely empty. He had to section it off because of that huge tax increase. The other adverse effect is that it also did not allow him to hire as many people within that neighborhood that he would have liked to do. So looking at the assessment of adjusting the assessment of the taxes is one thing, but also creating a more business-friendly environment for those who are looking to come into the city of Detroit and to start businesses. You have to be more business-friendly. You have to create a culture of commerce where we understand that bringing in new businesses and also bringing in or retaining the businesses that we have are important, because the small businesses and entrepreneurs, they're going to be the drivers. They're actually starting to be the drivers right now of this community and of our city. And we can't just solely rely on the large businesses, the large corporations, because when their fate turns sour, it really turns the city upside down. And then the question again, as I always say, is now what? And now what are the entrepreneurs and the small businesses that we really so desperately need to keep and entice to come back into the city of Detroit. As of right now, I don't support the mayor being in charge of DPS. I think that the city of Detroit has far too many issues right now for the mayor to focus on the schools, because we don't have crime in control in this city. And I also believe that it's a dangerous thing when you have the potential of two pools and two pots of money and two entities that have a $300 million, around $300 million deficit. The city of Detroit has a $300 million deficit. The DPS has approximately a $300 million deficit. You combine those, there's the potential that those two pots of money are combined. Now we're talking about over a $500 million deficit. How do you climb out of that? And the other scary part of that is that we may be forced to make that choice of scout cars versus school books. And I never want us to have to make that decision based on the backs of our children, because our children have been already forced to bear so much already with our school system. So I don't support the city of Detroit being over the public schools at this point. I think that we have to get a lot more things in order before that takes place. But we definitely have to do something different. Have to do something to the point where the city council and quite potentially, well, the mayor and quite possibly the city council have a member that is appointed to the school board. Because once again, we're talking about this accountability piece. If people are holding the elected officials, the at-large elected officials, the mayor and even the city council, over these public schools, what are you going to do to change it? I think they should have a say-so, and that's why I believe that it's important that in addition to the elected school board, which I believe should remain, there should also be an appointed member by the mayor's office and also one appointed member by the Detroit City Council onto the school board. Well, looking at the incinerator issue, I believe that we should definitely look at going to a citywide recycling program. I live in a neighborhood that has that is under the pilot program right now. Unfortunately, as much as the neighbors have expressed that they wanted to do this, participation hasn't been as strong as it should have been and as anticipated. I do believe that part of that is because of that mentality that we still have to break and the behavior that we've done over the years where we just throw everything away. It's going to take some time, not a few weeks, not a few months, to get some people out of the habit of doing that, but I believe that we should go in that direction. And the incinerator, I think it's been proven that we don't necessarily need this incinerator, and we just now have to look at the legal standing of breaking the contract or getting out of a contract with this incinerator, because I don't think that we need to incur another possible multi-million-dollar lawsuit just to get rid of something that we truly, honestly don't believe works in the city of Detroit. And also causes, from what many people say, health issues for people in that area. And I believe that anytime there's a possibility that there's a potential of health damage to our children, seniors, and anyone within the area, I think that this needs to be something that is looked at thoroughly, vetted thoroughly, and if necessary, taken away from the city of Detroit.